Hey, aloha and welcome everyone. Really excited to be reconnecting with you this week. It is the 14th of June, 2023, as I am doing this podcast. We are in series number 5 of Tao Healing. The first 4 was for physical, then emotional, then mental, and then spiritual. And now we're into, the fourth one was relationship. And now we're into finances. And this is session number 5 of 7. Let me see if there's 7 or 8. Yeah, there's 7. And so I'm excited because this particular topic on finances, financial um, wisdom around manifesting with the deeper and higher understandings of the source has really revealed a lot of very high level wisdom and information to me. For those of you that have just stumbled across this for the first time, make sure that you subscribe to my podcast. And this is the 5th in this series just on manifestation principles. Okay, and the difference between what I am sharing with these manifestation principles is I tie in the very sacred Tao wisdom with it. So, to bring you up to speed in the last 5 weeks, the first one was the root cause of financial, business, and success problems. The second week was daily spiritual practices, 7 daily spiritual practices to transform finances, business, and success problems. The third week in this series was the Tao of creation and manifestation of wealth and success. And that was really interesting. That one has some very high level wisdom in it, but a lot of people missed it. So make sure you go watch that one. I had some kind of technical hiccup where people couldn't come in live, but it was still recorded properly. Very interesting. The fourth one just last week uh, was the Tao and the the past and its effects on your manifestations. So the past can absolutely affect our manifestations, and that was the topic last week. Today, this week, the topic is quite unique, and it is understanding dimensions and time in relationship to manifestation and success. So I'm very excited to share that with you today. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe and let other people know about this. I'm sure they would appreciate the value of what will be being shared here today. Welcome, Charlene. Welcome, Pat. Welcome, Kevin and Rosetta. Very happy you joined me today live. Feel free to let others know about this. So, obviously, this is the subject of manifestation. And when we talk about manifestation, most people think about, well, if I think about it, it will come. If I focus on it enough, it will come. Manifestation is something that's over there, it's outside of me. And this is the first part of understanding that that's just not true. Uh, a lot of what is being released to humanity today and is finally being accepted is understandings of quantum physics and quantum theory. And I am in no way, shape, or form intelligent in this subject matter, but I know just enough to tie it into what I'm sharing with you today. And that is that all possibilities exist within our vibration. And that has been proven by quantum physics. They've done the two slit theory and they can see that any of the possibilities exist, but it is what you focus on that causes that possibility that's in the space to instantly manifest. And when I say instantly manifest, I mean when in physics, when they were looking under these very high powered devices, electronic devices that can measure the instant manifestation of a proton and then the disappearance of it, and it appeared over here, it always appeared where they put their attention. And this represents our abilities as a human being. It has been stated and is true that we all have the ability to create. But when we use the word manifestation, it tends to put it outside of us. So we need to bring it back inside of us because there's an entire school of thought, which personally I believe that we are able to create anything and everything that we allow our field to connect to. So if we wish to experience an unpleasant relationship, and if an unpleasant relationship is in our vibration, then that is what we will experience, just like what we focus on in the quantum physics experience. If we wish financial abundance in our life, then that's what we want, and that is what manifests in our life as well. It's instantly there. You have heard this before. It's instantly there. Why then do we not see it? This brings us to dimensions and time. In the understanding, to the best of my ability to comprehend and explain to you, which I promise you will go through a metamorphosis over time as it has up to this point. What I know now and what I can share now is significantly more than what I knew a year ago, 10 years ago, etc. And I'm very confident it will go through more maturity and shift with time. However, let's talk about dimensions first, time second, and tie in manifestation, wealth, and abundance and success. Dimensions. Dimensions are different layers of frequency. You and I and the television screen or the telephone screen that you're watching me through, that's made of plastic and possibly glass or any number of materials, are operating in frequencies. How does the frequency of a cell phone get from you to your friend 2,000 miles away through multiple brick walls? Through frequency. Can you see that frequency with your physical eyes? No, most of us cannot. But it still is there. Can you see the microwave frequency when it heats up the water? No, but it happens. So frequencies exist whether we can validate them with our five senses or not. This is the first thing to understand. There is a range of frequencies from the most low, 0, to the most high, which probably cannot be understood or explained by us. And in this range of frequencies exists life, life that you and I have no idea of. So frequencies and dimensions are in essence the same thing. That brings us to time. Time is what is experienced depending on what frequency you are in. If you operate in a frequency or dimension that is of a higher vibration than what you can access through your five senses, then when you experience those higher frequencies or higher dimensions, the concept or construct of time simply goes away. And we'll touch more on when it comes to manifestation on that subject for now, but stay with me. So you and I are in this human realm. We're in what's referred to as the third dimension. Just think of it as a certain vibrational frequency. Okay. And in this vibrational frequency, we have all had intuition and we have this insight, and then it happens. Okay. So that was a sense beyond our five senses, such type, sight, feeling, smell, sound. Okay. We tend to validate life by our five senses. Because we validate life by our five senses, we stay in the realm of time. The intuitional thought, on the other hand, did not care at all about time. It just flew in, and sure enough, uh, it validated itself out. This is an additional sense. It's an additional quality that came through a higher frequency channel that all humans have. Every human is built the same. We're all connected to the same source. We're all connected to the same earth. And within this frequency range, we have opportunities to elevate our frequencies. The higher wisdom teachings out there highly recommend becoming quiet, going into silence, no thought. And in that space, there is a possibility of elevating our frequency and vibration. It is when we operate in the five sense world and get dragged down by everything social media, negative news, polluted foods, polluted air, polluted water, that keeps us in a lower frequency vibration, a lower dimension. It has also been stated, and is true, that the entirety of Earth and all its inhabitants are moving through and into a higher frequency or a higher dimension. Uh, there are at least 1 million different perspectives just on that alone. I will share with you the one my teacher has shared, which is that the movement from third to fourth dimension, or another way of saying that, the movement of the current frequency we are operating in to one that is of a higher, more aligned, more love-based frequency, is not instant. Okay, there are people out there, a lot of them say it's instant. It will just be whoop, and we're happily ever after into a much higher frequency. Kumbaya. Uh, I personally don't believe that, just because my sense is that that's not a truth. And my teacher has stated a similar thing, but I had my teacher's belief before he stated it. It just helped me to feel more comfortable with it. Either could be right. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong. The point here is we live in a ongoing bath of frequencies. The source, your creator, my creator, is at the pinnacle of these frequencies, and you and I are all on this pathway back to source. That's frequencies and dimensions. What is time? Time is a construct of this third dimension. We have an experience where we have a thought, or we sense or smell something, we want something, and then between this moment and a moment that we call tomorrow or next week or next year, uh, shows up to us as time. In this third dimension, there is plenty of proof out there, real life, real people, third dimensional people that put their hand out and something manifests in their hand. Great swamis in India have done this. Okay, it's been documented. It's not something that is questionable. It's been documented. So instant manifestation is possible in this realm, but what happens is our mindsets, our attitudes, our beliefs is what limits what we actually experience. Those that live at a higher frequency, higher dimension, do not have the mindsets, attitudes, and beliefs that we do. They do not have the same five senses that we do. Therefore, imagine someone from birth being told from the moment of birth, instant manifestation is just natural. Whatever you think comes. That's what that child would believe, and therefore that's what would happen, because they were never told anything different. They would then operate in a higher frequency and dimension from that moment forth. That's in essence how those that are higher frequencies, for the shortest version I can give you, operate. They don't have a negative construct that says that it takes time for something to manifest. Time is not horizontal. What do I mean by that? Time is not past, present, future. That is a third dimensional belief. It doesn't mean it's true. If you go back to what is dimensional speaking, it is vertical. We have lower frequencies, our frequency, and then higher frequencies and sources up here. So time is actually a vertical line, not a horizontal line. What makes it appear to us as a horizontal line is each moment we have a new experience, therefore we believe it's horizontal. But in essence, we are only having one time, and that is now. This moment in time is the only time we have. The past is simply a remembrance of a moment that happened, back there in our construct, but it was just a moment. It is a memory. It is no longer a fact. It is simply a experience that remained in our vibration. It was an experience that remained in our vibration. Now you are witnessing me. You are listening to me. It is an experience that will remain in your vibration. And if I start talking about monkeys on a tree, now in this next moment, it will be an experience in your vibration. Every experience in your vibration is created by what we witness or a thought. A thought can be something that you witnessed in the past. A thought can be something you think about in the future. We talked about this last week. If you missed it, go back and listen to past and future and how it impacts our manifestations. So time is now only. Because in this moment, we tend to pontificate on past or future, we validate past and future in this construct of the third dimension. Manifestation and success, and instant manifestation and success, can be shortened. The what we call time between now and the time it shows up can be shortened by reducing past and future concepts, past and future thinking. By staying in the now, in this vertical line, and raising our frequencies, we reduce the gap between what we request and what is manifest. Because we go back to quantum physics, it is instantly there. The minute we think about it, the minute we desire it, is instantly there. It is also instantly not there the minute we have a fear, a doubt, a past thought, a future thought that is not in alignment with what we requested. I'll repeat it a different way. When you make a request, if you were that child that was taught that everything instantly manifests, that would be their truth. Therefore, that is what would happen. That is true for you today as it is for a child born today that is taught that. If that child never entered this physical world, lived in a box, and was taught you can instantly manifest anything, that child would be able to do so. Why? Because that's the frequency that they would experience. The moment they enter a human field, they would see that people think differently, have five senses, don't believe what they were taught, and therefore that that frequency would devolve to where we're at. So we are in the process of making ourselves similar to that child, in that we want to be in total control of our thoughts. Negative thoughts, words, of course, actions, create in the moment what we don't want, and it stays in our field. Positive thoughts create, of course, what we do want, and it stays in our field. So every moment is your opportunity to, in a linear moment, raise your frequency. Master Sha, my teacher, some of you might have the same teacher, some of you might not, that are listening to this a year from now. He spends his entire time teaching his student base, his very high level student base, to always watch their thoughts, words, and actions. Always. And to elevate their frequency by bringing their vessel, their five senses, into a higher frequency and vibration through calligraphy, through song, through mantra, through healing, whatever it might be. He's teaching us to be in the moment and to become more and more quiet, because the mind chatter sways us. Past, future, past, future, past, future. In the present moment, in silence, we can be in that higher frequency. We are literally already in it. We are already in that channel. It's not that we can't go from the third floor to the fourth floor. It's not that we can't go from the third dimension to the fourth or the fifth or whatever. We can. We can be there instantaneously. It is that we are commandeered by all of the negativities external to us and all of the negativities existing in our personal vibrations. If that's new information to you, go back to the beginning. At the very beginning of my podcast, I talk about how we are impacted by positive and negative vibrations. I go into great detail, and I explain all that in our physical, emotional, mental bodies. We are a culmination of every negative thought, word, and action from this in all lifetimes. It remains in our field, and we have external things, negative news, etc., bombarding our field. So no one's saying this is an easy experience to operate in. No one is saying that to be in the moment and to manifest instantly is easy. I'm not saying that. Saying it is much easier than doing it. The reason it's not so easy is because we're literally bombarded on a moment-to-moment basis. It doesn't change the truth that we live in one linear moment, one vertical moment. So tomorrow, you will still have in your field everything that you learned today, and everything you've ever thought from the past, good and negative. It will still be in your field. Your role to move to manifesting and success faster and faster and faster is the internal agreement to Be the steward of your thoughts to disallow negative thoughts from the past or fear, worry based thoughts into the future in this moment. That's your role. That's your only job. If you can watch those and and the key is to not shove them aside or disregard them. You have to be cognizant that the reason that fear thought came forward or that memory of the past that keeps bothering the heck out of you came forward is because it's in your vibration. It got into your vibration because we have created a similar vibration for others. We could, whether we remember it or not, could have caused a fear or worry based vibration for others. Therefore, it's in our field. We could have had a trauma from the past that we have not resolved. Therefore, it's in our field. So it will keep coming up to you. Don't deny it and don't shove it aside. Use the Tao healing tools that have been taught. I covered that: physical healing, emotional healing, mental healing. Go back, watch the recordings again, because by applying those wisdoms, you can be present. And in the present, you can be quiet, not bothered by this mind chatter. When you are quiet, not bothered by this mind chatter, you can focus on what it is you want. You can much more easily and readily manifest what it is you want. It is when you're being swayed any direction other than center, it's hard to focus on that. Now, when you focus on it, it is very important to empower it. Focusing on it is like sitting in the Maserati, but that Maserati is not going to go anywhere until you hit the gas pedal. The gas pedal of manifestation is emotion. It will manifest negative for you if you use negative emotion, but it will manifest positively for you when you use happy, aligned emotion to what it is you're wanting. All of us want success and money and, best relationship. We all want these things. Who doesn't want that? And yet it still doesn't come. Many of you have traced Tao calligraphies, financial calligraphies, and yet it still doesn't come. You are not being responsible. You are living in the past or a fear or worry based future because that bill is in front of you today, because that phone call is in front of you today. So you give it attention. The key is to not give whatever shows up in your day-to-day attention. If it's in your vibrational field, you give it love. You say thank you, because everything has a soul. Every thought has a soul, positive and negative. Every physical thing that shows up in your world has a soul, and every soul is trying to serve you. Again, if this is new information, go back and watch the previous podcast that explains all this. When you recognize that everything that enters your field that is not supportive of your manifestation and success is a soul and it is trying to serve you, then you can say, give it love. Step 1. Step 2, I love you. Thank you for your service. It's trying to serve you. I see that you're trying to share with me that fear is present. And that helps me to understand that it's possible that I or my ancestors have created fear around ABC to others. That's why it's in my field. Please forgive me. Please forgive my ancestors having created this emotion, this thought, this experience in anybody else's field. I deeply, deeply apologize. I will now chant a beautiful mantra to help transform this negative message and offer gratitude for teaching me this lesson. Thank you. That's not shoving it away. That's recognizing its service to you. And in that moment, you have eliminated or reduced a vibration in your field that separates you from center, that separates you from this moment. When you do that, you raise your dimensional frequency and you eliminate the constructs of time. Life is a series of moments. I didn't invent that. You've read it in some poem somewhere. It doesn't make it any less true. When we utilize our moments with the greatest consciousness, we have the opportunity to shorten the gap of what we currently call time in that manifestation, in that success. When we pause, meditate, visualize, get clear on what it is you want, whatever it is, get clear on it. You do not, this is key, understand this, you do not have to know how it's going to happen. Write it down. I do not have to know how this is going to happen. That's not my job. Write it down. It's not your job to know how it's going to happen. Whose job is it? It's the source. That's where you're from. Source can create everything. It's ego if we think we have to know how it's going to happen. Get your ego out of the way. My job is simply to know what it is I want and then to hit the gas pedal of that Maserati of what I want with emotion, with the emotion of relief in the case of financial blessings, with the emotion of excitement, with the emotion of the enjoyed feeling of having your own place, your own home, your own fully loving relationship, whatever it is. The more time you bathe in that emotion, the manifestation that you requested is coming to you, coming to you, coming to you, coming to you, coming to you. Now, again, if you were in a higher instant, if you were in a higher dimension, if you weren't bogged down by negative thoughts, words, actions, it would come to you instantly. But we're still bogged down by third dimension. So it's coming to you, coming to you, coming to you. And you can shorten that gap of time through positive emotion. That's the gas pedal to appropriate manifestation. But I can tell you from personal experience, it's hard. It is hard to hold that focus. It is hard for some of us to even get clear on what it is we want. Why? Because of the negative vibration in our field. We may have contributed to others not meeting their dreams. We may have contributed to others not having their success, their manifestations. We may have contributed to others and telling me you're never going to succeed. You were born into a poor family, you'll always be poor. Whatever it is we could, or our ancestors could have said to others, could be causing us to have a great deal of difficulty just focusing on what we want, just being positive in that focus. That is true. Doesn't make it any less plausible. We simply need to be responsible when those vibrations come up. We reduce them or eliminate them through the Tao healing methods, through the forgiveness practices, through the calligraphies, through the songs and mantras, through our healing abilities if we have them. And we just stay focused on that. The key in every moment, stay away from future, stay away from past. When they come up, deal with them. Go back to your intended manifestation, add emotion. What's the rule? 80%. What you want will come to you relatively quick and relatively consistently when you can shift your consciousness about 80% of the time. That doesn't mean you're focusing 80% of the time because you're way busy doing life and family and everything else. That means whenever you catch yourself in a thought that is past or future that is not serving you, you instantly, even if it's for 30 seconds, you instantly default to your predetermined, predefined positive intention. That's why it's so important to write it down and get clear on it. Because when you have that predetermined thought and intention, and when you're clear on the emotion connected to it, that negative can come up. You can process it as I've just described, and you can say, thank you for your service, this negative thought. I love you. I'm actually feeling like I no longer need you in my vibration. And I ask forgiveness for having brought that same kind of negative thought to anyone, anywhere in time. And I will now send you healing so you can dissolve. And I'm going to go to my happy space with my predetermined thought on manifestation. And I'm going to spend 30 seconds just empowering it. And that is how you work with dimensions and the understanding of time and its relationship to dimensions. And for those of you that came in a little late, I encourage you to go back. This is the current level of understanding that I have now. And I will continue to grow this and put it out there as I learn more. I apply what I'm teaching you. It absolutely does work. I have used it specifically for manifesting finances, earlier this, I tend to have a gap in my finances between the 10th of the month and the 30th of the month. And so I said, I need to generate $5,000 between now and the 30th of the month. I didn't know how it was going to happen. Remember, it's not your job to know how it's going to happen. Let go of, I want this bright, shiny red truck, but I have to do A, B, C, D to get the bright, shiny red truck. That's not your job. It's the source's job. Your job, focus, apply the positive. So I did that. I did my job. And I can tell you that I have already achieved all of that. Now, it's all going to go to a specific loan that I have to pay down, but it helped me get out of hot water. That's how fast science, uh, uh, that's how fast manifestation can work. I'm not any more special than you. I've had the same exact struggles as all of you. I still have the same exact struggles, but I'm teaching you what I know works because I've been paying attention. So I hope this assists you. Make sure you go back and listen to it again. There's a lot of aha moments in here. I suggest you go back and listen to this entire series on finances. And if you missed the other ones on physical health, emotion, mental, and relationship, there's a lot of gems in all of those. So I look forward to serving you. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you haven't been to my website, wellspringoflight.com, please come check it out. For those of you that are new to this, and I'm talking to most of you that are not familiar with Tao healing, I have a membership program that is truly amazing. It's somewhere between 75 and 150 or so a month, and it includes daily healing. It includes 5 30-minute practices. It includes a half-hour consult with me. Collectively, that's about a $300 value. You get it for about $100 a month. So I encourage you to go check that out. I have 40 or so students that have been there for like 8 months now. They just love it. So until next time, have an awesome day. Bye-bye, everybody.